Picture a ghost town. Just tumbleweeds rolling past abandoned storefronts, um, empty parking lots slowly cracking under the sun.
Yeah, the classic retail apocalypse imagery.
Exactly. For the better part of the last decade, I mean, if you listen to financial analysts or tech prognosticators, that was basically the inevitable destiny of every single physical store in the world.
Right, because e-commerce was supposed to just swallow the physical world whole.
Right. We'd all just sit on our couches waiting for cardboard boxes to arrive. But if you walk into a major retail space today, you quickly realize something didn't quite go according to that script.
No, it really didn't.
The physical store isn't dying at all. It is actively mutating, honestly, to something completely different. So, welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive designed specifically for you, the learner.
Glad to be here.
Today, our mission is to explore this massive, almost invisible transformation that is happening right under our noses, in the very places we shop every single day.
It's a profound shift in consumer architecture, really. And to understand it, we are grounding our discussion today in a deeply insightful piece of analysis by Johann Jacob.
Right, from Retailbound.
Exactly. He is the president and founder of the retail consultancy Retailbound, and his recent framework, which is titled The Future of Brick-and-Mortar Stores in 2026, it completely dismantles that old retail apocalypse narrative.
It totally tears it down.
It does. The thesis is super clear. Physical retail is evolving at a breakneck pace just to survive a digital-first world.
Okay, let's unpack this, because for years, the logic seemed, well, undeniable, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, why drive 20 minutes to buy paper towels or a new blender when you can literally just tap a piece of glass in your pocket and have it on your porch by tomorrow morning?
E-commerce undeniably won the battle for pure convenience and speed and endless inventory.
Yeah, they have those metrics completely locked down. So if online shopping have all that, how on earth does a building made of bricks justify its existence anymore?
Well, that is the multi-billion-dollar question driving the entire industry right now. Physical stores are being forced to offer what a smartphone screen simply cannot replicate.
Which is what, exactly?
Well, think about it. A screen is flat. It has no gravity, no texture, no real spatial context. A physical space, on the other hand, provides a sensory experience.
Oh, right. Touching things.
Exactly. You can feel the weight of a power drill to see if it's, ergonomically right for your hand. You can test the firmness of a mattress or immediately compare the color saturation of two different televisions right next to each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely don't want to buy a couch without sitting on it first.
Right. And there's also the undeniable advantage of immediate gratification. I mean, zero shipping time, plus real-time, face-to-face problem solving if you have a question.
Okay.
But to leverage those advantages, retailers are having to completely abandon the old model of just operating giant passive rooms full of metal shelves.
Right, because the research highlights this pivot toward spaces acting as, what do they call it? Experience centers, pickup hubs, and return locations.
Yes, the multi-purpose store.
And that makes sense from a financial perspective, right? Like keeping the lights on, paying staff, managing massive physical inventory, it's incredibly expensive.
It's astronomical overhead, yeah.
So if a retailer is going to take on those operational costs, they can't just let the square footage sit there as some static warehouse. They have to squeeze every single ounce of efficiency and engagement out of that space.
Precisely why we are seeing such a radical redesign of the floor plan itself. The operational pressures are so high that retailers are engineering these spaces to serve multiple totally different functions simultaneously. It's really a matter of sheer survival at this point.
I was thinking about this architecture, and the modern store is starting to feel a lot less like a traditional shop and, well, a lot more like a major airport hub.
An airport hub, huh? I like that visual. Walk me through that.
Well, think about an airport terminal. It's not just one thing. It's a highly orchestrated logistics center, right? Designed to move thousands of people and heavy pieces of luggage as fast as possible.
Sure.
But at the exact same time, it's a high-end shopping mall, a restaurant district, and a lounge where people are just killing time.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and when you walk into a major store today, it's operating the exact same way. It's a logistics terminal for people pulling up in their cars for curbside pickups or dropping off online returns. But you cross that with an amusement park designed for sensory engagement.
That's a great way to put it.
You've got an employee rushing down an aisle picking items for an online order, while Literally 2 feet away, a customer is leisurely testing out a new virtual reality headset in some custom-built showroom.
It's two completely different shopping modes in the exact same aisle.
Exactly. But, I mean, I have to push back a little here. Doesn't this dual identity risk making these stores wildly chaotic?
How do you mean?
Like, if I just want to run in for a gallon of milk after work, am I going to be dodging augmented reality displays and personal shoppers and massive return lines?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that perceived chaos is actually a highly calculated, engineered agility.
Calculated how?
What you're describing as chaos is really a retailer attempting to blend maximum convenience with deep, immersive engagement. And the underlying logic here is that different customers, or even the exact same customer on different days, want totally different things.
Right. On Tuesday, I want milk in 5 minutes, but on Saturday, I want to browse laptops for an hour.
Exactly. The businesses that figure out how to balance these two journeys flawlessly under one roof, they're the ones who will win long-term loyalty. It's about building a space that accommodates the person who wants to be in and out in 3 minutes without alienating the person who wants to spend an hour interacting with a high-end espresso machine.
So the goal isn't to force every single shopper into the amusement park experience.
No, not at all.
It's about having the amusement park available for the specific products that require it, while keeping the logistics completely out of the way for everything else.
Yes, keeping the friction low.
Which naturally leads to the mechanics of this transformation. If these stores are becoming hyper-efficient experience centers by 2026, how are they actually pulling this off on a technical level?
The answer is a really aggressive integration of what we call smart retail technology.
Okay, let's get into the tech.
The research emphasizes that by 2026, in-store engagement won't just be friendly staff greeting you. It will be driven by augmented reality and virtual reality tools.
Like wearing a headset in the store.
Sometimes, yes. Or interactive displays where you might hold up your phone to see how a piece of furniture looks in different colors. Or smart mirrors in clothing stores that overlay different outfits onto your reflection without you ever having to change clothes.
Oh, wow. That turns a mundane visit into a pretty highly memorable event.
Exactly, which drives brand loyalty and ultimately conversion rates.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because the visual stuff, like smart mirrors, is flashy, but the back-end technology mentioned in this analysis absolutely fascinated me.
The operational tech.
Yeah, things like smart shelves, RFID tracking, and digital price tags.
Yeah.
Let's break those down, because I don't think most people realize how sophisticated this is getting. RFID, for example, that's radio frequency identification, right?
That's right.
How does that change the game compared to the old barcode system?
Oh, it changes absolutely everything about inventory management. So a traditional R code requires line of sight. An employee has to physically find the tag on a shirt, point a laser at it, and scan it one by one.
Very slow.
Incredibly slow. But RFID uses radio waves. A store manager can walk down an aisle with a reader and instantly hundreds of tiny, inexpensive microchips embedded in the product tags report their exact location and status.
Wait, instantly?
Instantly. They know immediately if 3 blue shirts are missing from a display or if a specific pair of shoes was accidentally left in a dressing room on the other side of the store.
That is wild.
It gives the physical store the exact same level of real-time, perfectly accurate inventory data that a massive e-commerce warehouse has.
And when you combine that with digital price tags, which I've actually started seeing pop up at my local grocery store.
The e-ink displays.
Yeah. They look like little e-ink screens on the edge of the shelf instead of printed paper stickers. I imagine those aren't just there to save paper.
Far from it. Digital price tags are connected to a central server. This allows a physical store to implement dynamic pricing, much like an airline or a ride-sharing app.
Like surge pricing.
Basically, yes. If a massive snowstorm is forecasted, a hardware store could theoretically adjust the price of snow shovels across the entire store with a single keystroke.
Oh my God.
Or, more commonly, they can instantly match a sudden price drop from an online competitor so they don't lose the sale to someone just checking their phone in the aisle.
That is crazy. And that ties right into the artificial intelligence and data analytics the research brings up. Because if the store knows exactly what is on the shelf in real time, and they can change the displays digitally, it gave me this slightly wild thought.
Let's hear it.
Are physical stores basically starting to track us the way a website does? Like using RFID and AI to give us personalized recommendations in real life, just like internet browser cookies tracking our clicks.
What's fascinating here is Well, how incredibly accurate that analogy is. The physical and digital retail worlds are completely blurring into one continuous feedback loop.
So they are tracking us like cookies.
Yes, but it's vital to understand the why behind this tracking. It isn't just surveillance for the sake of being futuristic or creepy. It is entirely about removing the friction of shopping.
Making it easier.
Right. The modern consumer has been relentlessly trained by the internet to expect a highly tailored, frictionless experience. You log onto a website, it remembers you, it suggests items based on your past behavior, and checking out takes a single click. Physical retail is just deploying smart tech to mimic that exact level of personalized service.
So in practice, if I have a store's app open on my phone and I walk down an aisle, the store's data analytics recognize my purchase history. And a digital end cap display might suddenly highlight a new brand of coffee that aligns perfectly with the flavor profile I usually buy.
Yes. It's bringing the immense power of digital data-driven insights out of the cloud and into the physical space you are literally standing in. And it is completely altering the expectations for cashierless checkouts, too. The ultimate goal is to make the payment process completely invisible, just like it is online.
Okay, it's one thing to talk about dynamic pricing and digital cookies in theory, but to really grasp this, we have to look at who is actually executing this at scale today.
We need real-world examples.
Right. And the analysis from Retailbound provides 3 major case studies of retail titans that are already living in this 2026 reality. And they each take a totally different approach.
They do, and it proves that there is no single monolithic strategy for survival. Let's examine the first major case study, Walmart.
The biggest of the big box stores.
Exactly. When you think of traditional utilitarian big box retail, you think of Walmart. But they are proving that physical retail thrives specifically when it is aggressively paired with digital innovation.
Yeah, looking at the source, their strategy seems to be all about speed and self-reliance. Like, they've heavily invested in their mobile app to create a seamless online-to-offline journey.
That seamlessness is the critical factor. With Walmart's current infrastructure, you might realize you need a specific type of motor oil while you're sitting on your couch at home.
Okay.
You search for it in their app, and not only does it tell you it's in stock at your local store, it provides a localized map directing you to the exact aisle and shelf location.
So no wandering around looking for a sign.
None. You walk in, navigate straight to the item, scan it with your phone, pay digitally through the app, and just walk out. You have completely bypassed the traditional checkout line and the need to search for an employee.
Wow.
They are using digital tech to make a massive, sometimes overwhelming physical footprint feel incredibly nimble and personalized.
That's a perfect example of removing friction. Now, contrast that with the second case study that research brings up, which is Best Buy. And I found this one so ironic.
The tech giant leaning on humans.
Right. Best Buy is a store literally dedicated to selling technology. Laptops, massive TVs, complex smart home infrastructure. But their survival strategy is leaning heavily into human connection.
It's a brilliant counterintuitive pivot, honestly. While other stores are trying to automate employees completely out of the equation, Best Buy realized that their products are inherently complicated and, for a lot of people, often intimidating.
For sure.
Yeah.
Setting up a smart home is a nightmare for most people.
Right, so they embrace their tech roots by offering highly personalized in-store consultations and tech workshops.
It's just so surprising to me. You'd think the tech store would be the very first to replace humans with AI kiosks to explain what a graphics card does. But they realize that human expertise is their actual competitive advantage over an online retailer. Like, if I'm spending $2,000 on a complex smart home security system, I don't want to just read a digital price tag or watch a YouTube video. I want a knowledgeable, breathing human being to look at the floor plan of my house and tell me exactly how the cameras connect to the Wi-Fi router.
Yes, you want reassurance.
Exactly. They've fundamentally retrained their staff from being cashiers and shelf stockers to being consultants.
This raises an important question, right, about the strategic paths available to brands today. Best Buy realized they couldn't compete on pure logistical speed with e-commerce giants, so they competed on trust and sensory engagement.
Meanwhile, Walmart leans into digital efficiency.
Right. And then you have the third case study highlighted in the research, which is Target.
Target is fascinating because the analysis says they are mastering the omni-channel strategy with extreme flexibility. Now, omnichannel is a word that gets thrown around a lot in business articles, so let's make sure we clarify that for the
Keep a
listener.
crucial distinction.
Multi-channel just means you have a website and you have a physical store, but they often operate like two totally separate businesses.
Mm,
Omnichannel means the back end is completely unified, right?
exactly that. In a true omni-channel ecosystem, the mobile app knows exactly what is in your physical shopping cart. The inventory is shared instantaneously across all platforms, and the physical store itself acts as a hyperlocal warehouse for the online operation.
And Target is doing this well.
Exceptionally well. Target has excelled at this by turning their stores into incredibly flexible fulfillment centers. They utilize the exact same inventory on the shelf for in-store shoppers, for same-day delivery drivers, and for customers pulling up outside for curbside pickup.
It's extreme flexibility.
Mhm.
Like you want to browse the aisles for an hour with a coffee, you can. If you want to buy it on your phone and have someone drop it in your trunk 10 minutes later, you can do that too. All powered by the exact same building.
And the same pool of inventory?
Right. What these three titans, Walmart, Best Buy, and Target prove is that there is no single blueprint for 2026. You can lean into sheer convenience, or you can lean into trust and human expertise.
The only absolute guarantee of failure is trying to operate a store today exactly the way you did 10 years ago. Stagnation is the only guaranteed death sentence in this environment.
Wow, okay. Which naturally brings us to a completely different side of the retail equation. We've discussed the architectural and technological changes to the stores themselves. But what about the physical products sitting on those smart shelves?
The supply side.
Yeah, if retail giants have completely rewritten the rules of engagement, how does a product manufacturer actually get their product placed in these futuristic spaces?
That is the survival guide portion of this research. Because if you make a product, let's say you manufacture an innovative new kitchen gadget or a line of sustainable clothing, the environment you are trying to sell into has completely changed.
It's a whole new ballgame.
It really is. The analysis outlines a few core strategies for manufacturers to survive. First, they have to adopt an omnichannel distribution strategy themselves, meaning they can't rely solely on wholesale or solely on their own direct-to-consumer website.
They have to be everywhere.
Yes. Second, they have to continuously innovate their designs to meet rapidly changing consumer trends.
Because the retail environment is so dynamic and data-driven now, products have a much shorter life cycle if they don't resonate immediately.
Right? Exactly. Manufacturers must track consumer behaviors meticulously. But the third strategy is arguably the most critical for navigating this new landscape, which is building strategic retail partnerships.
Right. The research mentions co-marketing efforts, exclusive product launches, and this seems like the most important piece, data sharing partnerships.
Yes, sharing the analytics.
And it notes that for brands needing help navigating this complex web, Johann Jacobs' consultancy, Retailbound, actually bridges the gap between creating a great product and actually achieving retail success.
Right.
Like, they guide brands through this specific integration process.
Which is an invaluable service, honestly, because establishing a data-sharing partnership with a major retail buyer is not something a product manufacturer can just improvise.
I would imagine not.
It requires a highly sophisticated understanding of analytics and back-end systems. But by leveraging shared data, brands can study broader market trends, analyze consumer feedback across platforms, and forecast demand to optimize exactly what they manufacture and when.
So what does this all mean for a smaller manufacturer? I'm thinking of you, the listener, who maybe runs a mid-sized consumer goods startup. Isn't it incredibly intimidating to try and establish a quote-unquote data-sharing partnership with a massive buyer at Target?
It sounds terrifying, yeah.
It sounds like you need a Silicon Valley engineering team just to pitch a physical toaster. How does that practically work?
It can certainly sound daunting on the surface, but if we look at the mechanics of the situation, it's actually incredibly empowering for smaller creators.
Really? How so?
Well, we have to remember the fundamental dynamic here. Retail giants need innovative, exciting products just as much as brands need shelf space.
Because they have to fill the experience centers.
Exactly. Without fresh, engaging products to draw people in, those elaborate experience centers we talked about become very boring very quickly.
Ah, I see. The multi-million-dollar amusement park is completely useless if you don't constantly build new rides to keep people coming back.
Precisely. And utilizing data analytics is the tool that actually levels the playing field for those smaller manufacturers.
It levels it.
It does. Think about the old days of retail placement. Getting your product on a national shelf often relied on who you knew, decades of legacy brand recognition, or having a massive marketing budget to wine and dine a buyer.
The old boys club.
Right. Today, data is the great equalizer. It turns retail placement into a mathematical meritocracy.
Because the small brand can bring their own data to the table?
Exactly. A relatively unknown brand can walk into a meeting with a major retailer and use API integrations to share their direct-to-consumer data. They can show the buyer their Shopify sales metrics, their demographic heat maps from social media campaigns, and positive consumer feedback loops.
Well, that makes so much sense.
If they can mathematically prove that there is localized demand for their product, that hard data speaks much louder than a legacy brand name. It proves, before the item ever hits the shelf, that it will drive the engagement the retailer is so desperate for.
It's not just pitching a cool idea anymore. It's presenting a verified algorithm for success.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of it for the buyer.
Well, looking at all the technological and strategic pieces laid out in this analysis, a remarkably clear picture emerges of what shopping looks like just a couple of years from now. By 2026, the entire shopping journey is entirely, seamlessly hybrid.
A total blend.
The rigid walls that used to separate online shopping from in-store shopping have completely dissolved. Customers are going to fluidly move between researching an item on a phone, touching and trying it in a highly engaging physical showroom, and checking out through whatever invisible digital channel offers the least friction.
It's all one ecosystem now.
Agility, creativity, and deep, data-driven collaboration are the literal currencies of this new retail landscape.
That is a very accurate synthesis. The physical store is not a dinosaur waiting for an impact. It is a highly adaptable organism that is just graduating to a much higher level of sophistication and utility.
To you, the learner listening to this right now, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Exploring the unseen architecture of the places we visit every day is what this show is all about, and we appreciate you bringing such a fascinating topic to the table.
It's been a great discussion.
It really completely changes the way you look at the simple run to the hardware store.
It certainly recontextualizes the entire experience, and I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you navigate this rapidly changing landscape.
Oh, I'm ready.
We've spent all this time discussing how the successful brick-and-mortar stores of 2026 will be heavily data-driven, tracked by invisible radio waves, optimized dynamically by artificial intelligence, and incredibly connected to the cloud.
Right. High tech everywhere.
But it makes me wonder, as our everyday environments become entirely saturated with frictionless, smart technology, will the ultimate luxury retail experience of the future eventually be a store that uses absolutely no technology at all?
Wait, like going totally off the grid.
A completely analog, screen-free space where cash is handed to a person, focused purely on raw, untracked human connection. A deliberate retreat from the very digital efficiency that saved the physical store in the first place.
That is a fascinating idea.
Just something to think about the next time you walk through those automatic sliding doors.